Hi guys, another not one of my usual videos, but this one I just had to share with you. Now this tiny little guy here was gifted to us by our friend on the 10th of July this year. When she took over her allotment at the beginning of the year, there were a load of seeds left in the shed, and what we both thought were either cucumber or a honeydew melon seeds turned out to be these cute little pumpkins. Being so tiny and the hot summer that we had, they came to fruition really quickly. And she gave this to my young lady. If you've seen in our videos, you know that she fancies herself a little bit of a witch and is into all pumpkin-y and witchy things. I filmed the first part of this video on the 5th of August, I believe. I was shocked that not only had he managed to survive pretty much unbruised, but he hadn't started rotting yet. And my little girl did not want to part with this tiny little guy. She's named him Timothy something or other. So I thought I'd try this hack to see if we could preserve him as long as possible. So like I said, I did this first bit 8 weeks ago, sorry. So I've got some normal household bleach, and I used about 10 mils of household bleach, about 5 mils of normal liquid dish detergent. We get the cheapest ones because turns out that one doesn't dry our hands out as much as using fairy liquid does. So if we don't have time to make our own soap, which we did in the previous video, which works okay on dishes, we use this. And I topped it up with enough water to cover our little dude. So into our solution Timothy went, and he bobbed a bit, so I would occasionally just give him a little pop down and make sure that all of him got covered, including his stem. Now I do believe that keeping the stem on it also helps preserve it for longer, but the pumpkins that we've always grown have been carved up and turned into soup, so I've never got to try this one out. Obviously, this one is not going to be edible afterwards, and I really wouldn't eat him after he's been in that bleach solution either. But I kept popping him under, and I want him to soak for at least half an hour, according to the hack that I found. Again, I found this online, and I don't save my history. I gave him a little scrub to make sure that there was no dirt or anything living on him. Impatience got the better of me after about 15 minutes, so I couldn't help but have a little play with him. He's been so cool in this water, so I had to distract myself. So I've got my new Halloween-y teacup, and I'm going to go have a tea while that last 15 minutes does its thing. So it's finally been 30 minutes, and we are going to take our little guy out, and we are going to give him a really good dry, get in all those crevices. You want to make sure that he's thoroughly dry before the next stage. This bleach and soap water will not go to waste. While he's drying a little bit longer, I will probably go and scrub the toilets. Not very glamorous, I know. I've now grabbed some kitchen towel, as the towel that I was using seemed quite moist. So I'm going to give him a good dry, and I am going to let him sit aside for at least another 20 minutes in the warm kitchen, just to make sure he is completely dry, as I'm sure his skin must have absorbed some, I don't know. But now he seems fully dry, and I have got my can of all-purpose spray varnish. It's a clear lacquer that we use to seal most of our projects, and I am going to take him outside and do it there, as it is stinky as, and it gives everyone in the house a headache when I use it. I'm also going to pop me on another tea, as this process takes quite a while for the drying, and again, I'm impatient. as you can see, it's already dark outside, and I could go into the conservatory or into the workshop, but they're not well ventilated, so we're just going to do it outside now that the rain has stopped for a little while. And I'm starting with the little guy upside down. Now you'll have to bear with me as I'm actually holding the camera this time. So we're just going to give that a good shake, and I'm going to completely spray his bottom first. His bottom. And we are going to allow him to dry for at least an hour before we turn him over and do the top. Then allow that to dry for at least an hour again and repeat the entire process. And when I've done that, I leave it for 24 hours in total to dry completely. And this is Timothy, 8 weeks after we processed him or preserved him, and I feel like we embalmed him. Well, we didn't, still, I feel like we embalmed him. But it's 8 weeks ago since we processed him, 11 and a bit since he was actually harvested, and he's still doing absolutely fine. Still looks like the day that he was embalmed. Still looks like the day he was picked, other than a few little bruises and scratches. And I do not doubt for a second that he's going to be part of the family for a good few weeks to come. Let us know if you guys try this hack, and obviously please don't try eat the pumpkins after doing this.